Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I will be reviewing for you an African violet called Morgan's Declan Duff. It was hybridized by Carol Eros and registered with the African Violet Society of America in 2010 under the registration number 10324. Carol Eros is a Canada-based hybridizer from Edmonton, Alberta, and she is the author of Morgan's series of African Violet miniatures and semi-miniatures. I received this variety from Bloom Lovers. This is a website that sells African violets in Canada in September 2019. So this plant is maybe half a year old. Morgan's Declan Duff is a miniature variety with light green, plain foliage. Let's look at the leaves up close. They're very pretty. I would say they're heart-shaped and they're glossy. I like the leaves on this variety very much because they make a nice background for the blooms. Miniature African violets grow up to 6 inches in diameter across a single crown. They usually do best in 2 or 2¼ inch pots. This plant is currently growing in a 2¼ inch pot, and the rosette has grown up to about 5 inches. So it might grow maybe an extra inch the most. Right now it's at the peak of its first blooming cycle. The flowers of Morgan's Declan Duff are described as single white pansies with fuchsia patches. They look very delicate and they look like a cloud of butterflies above the rosette. They're very unique looking blooms. This type of blooms also is called thumbprint blooms, and these patches sometimes are called thumbprints. I have 2 varieties with this type of pattern on the petals. It's this variety and Morgan's Declan Duff, and the Anthoploris hybrid called Little Axel. I made a video of this one earlier on my channel, and it's finishing blooming right now. It had many more blooms then, but the patches or the thumbprints can be clearly seen here. So these are my 2 favorite thumbprint bloom varieties. Anthoploris Little Axel, and the star of today's episode, Morgan's Declan Duff. I'm growing this variety on the west-facing window, and it receives a combination of LED and natural light, with my temperatures monitored at 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter and 79 degrees Fahrenheit maximum in the summer. Right now we are at 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and the humidity in my home is 57%. So it was a little lower when I made that video about the humidifier. It was around 47, I remember, and now it's raised up till 57. So I'm not running humidifier right now because it stays natural at upper 50s. It grows on a wick just like all of my other African violet varieties. Here, let's see, and I use small mason jars to put water in them, and this is regular tap water that stood open for about 48 hours. and it receives minimal dose of fertilizer, and I'm using currently Grow liquid plant food at a 7:9:5 ratio of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. It receives 1/8 of a teaspoon per gallon of water in the winter right now, and I will go back to the regular dose of 1/4 teaspoon per gallon of water in the summer when it gets warmer. Also, I forgot to tell you about the flowers of this variety, that they are droppers. And dropper flowers are those that drop when you touch the flower. They drop from the stem. They get detached very easily, and here you can see this one. It's about to drop, so it's very easy to see, like that. So it comes off very easily. All vintage varieties or the native species varieties, they were all droppers, and the stick-tied flowers, or the flowers that stay put on the flower stem even when they expire, they were developed by hybridizers when when the new hybrids of African violets were created. And I believe Holtkamp was the first hybridizer who developed the stick-tied flowers on African violets. But nevertheless, this variety, even though it has a dropper flowers, I find it very attractive. It's unique. I don't have any other variety that looks quite like that. So I will always keep Morgan's Declan Duff in my collection. If you like African violet miniatures with delicate blooms, I highly recommend adding this little beauty for your collection to enjoy. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you like this video and would like to stay tuned for future videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again on the next episode of my African violet reviews.